Hello everybody, welcome to Conversations and Cocktails, the first ever that we've ever had. I mean, this is the first one.
Inaugural.
Paul. This is the inaugural, the one and only, the first one. So we're going to have a lot of mistakes, we're going to have a lot of what ifs, we're going to probably have some hiccups.
I'm not going to have any mistakes.
Yeah, I've already given you all the questions that we're going to talk about. So you got to talk loud because Kim is not here. She normally would set all this up, it would have been perfect, the whole format, but I mean, we're basically doing it on ourselves.
Yeah.
So, you're okay with that?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, we're actually testing the sound out there to make sure that it's okay. So we may have to look for a thumbs up. But anyway, we'll keep going while she's looking. So, Paul Williams, owner of Celery City Craft, welcome.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for being here with us. Sanford Chamber of Commerce. It's a Chamber of Commerce day, although it is hot as Hades out.
I don't know if I'd call this a Chamber of Commerce day. This is more like a Death
Valley Chamber of Commerce.
Yes, maybe yes. It's stifling out there.
It is. So Paulie's going to bring in some signature drinks for us, right? And some signature food, because you have a couple of food options here that people may not know about. We're also going to have people walking through, so we're going to be waving people through because that's what this is all about. It's about supporting businesses in Sanford. Chris McLeod.
That's Chris McLeod.
Chris McLeod, step in for a second. I mean, listen, he not only wears a mask, he wears a surgical outfit. Mm-hmm. Come in. Come in. Squeeze in. Get by the skinny guy. How are you, friend?
Everybody all right?
Good. Very good. Thanks for coming out.
I saw this online today, and I go, that's the least I could do. You're talking of...
Oh, you seriously came by for this? Awesome.
Absolutely.
That's
no,
awesome.
You are the single tip of the spear for this community in downtown.
Ooh, thank you.
The least I could do is come out and say thank you. And
After a long day of repairing 9 people's spines today, Chris McLeod comes out and joins us.
if I did one, it's one too many.
Luckily, he's going to have a drink after he did that, and not before.
That's good,
right? That's always good. Thanks for joining us,
Thanks for what you
Chris.
guys are doing.
Absolutely,
Thank you.
So, Paul, I'm going to ask a bunch of questions. This is just wide open.
Okay.
We're going to go down a bunch of rabbit holes. We got an hour plus, whatever we want to talk about. So this is wide open. We're going to have people walking through. Hopefully, chamber members, please come down to Celery City Craft and support local. You actually came up with that tactic. I knew that Kim's going to yell at me for that.
I'm not sure I formulated the word support local. I won't take that claim to fame, but I definitely, it's been maybe 10 years ago, came up with a nice looking way to display it on different, shirts and, things like that. But I definitely think I've championed that cause here in good old Sanford.
Explain all the businesses that you've got going on here.
Okay.
Hang on, before you do that, let's make technical situation. Are we good over there? Can you hear us? You can? The sound is awesome.
Oh.
Okay, so
Who was that from? Oh, great. That's our only comment so far?
tell us about all the
Hey, Kim.
businesses you got.
Okay, so let's start here at Celery City. We are a craft beer bar. We have a huge selection of craft beer, and then we have a sushi kitchen, Sushi and Soul here at Celery City Craft. They are a fantastic place to eat. They're going to be bringing out some appetizers and some main courses for us to taste. And they're going to even do some describing on camera what it is. If you haven't made it by that, you are definitely missing out. Next door we have, which is closed right now due to COVID restrictions, but it looks like we may be getting open soon over there, Celery City Cigars. So that'll be back open soon. Then across the street I have West End. We'll have been there 14 years next month.
14 years.
Mm-hmm.
I remember, and remind me to tell you a story about one of the first times I ever went into West End.
Okay.
Because
you don't want to do that here.
We used to We used to host the baseball guys that came in for the River Rats, the Florida Collegiate League.
Sure, yeah.
And so one of my first players that we ever had at the house, I'll tell you that story about West End one.
I'm sure he missed a game or something.
It was when sand was on the floor, if you remember.
That's about 13 years ago. So West End. It's We've been there a long time. Then next door, I opened about a year ago Sunshine State Threads. We do screen printing, decorating of a bunch of all kinds of goods. And we have a retail store that we opened recently that just has cool Sanford shirts and cool shirts and ideas that I come up with and some of my friends come up with.
You actually have part of it. I saw that for back to school, which has a lot of local, sayings or what have you.
Yeah, we had a big back to school sale a couple weeks ago, and we did a bunch of cool like kids shirts that are Sanford centric.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of fun. It was something different that I haven't worked on anything different than bar stuff in quite some time.
Well, this logo you came up with, right?
I did. Well, I would say thieved. It's the
Change one word.
It's the Sanford and Son logo. I mean, I think everyone knows that, and it says it's Sanford Son. But yes, I had an epiphany one evening when I was in bed that it would be just a cool thing to do, and people seem to like that.
I've actually got one of these T-shirts.
Okay, yeah. There's a bunch of them out there. I would say, if I had to guess, a couple thousand by now.
So Paul, I'm going to change gears on you a little bit.
Okay.
So originally,
You want me to finish up these businesses?
Keep going.
All right, because I don't want to miss out on my favorite one to always talk about. Pints and Paws is my nonprofit.
Yep.
We didn't get to have that event this year, but it is a nonprofit that I work on, and we'll be looking forward to working on 2021's event.
Give me your 20-second elevator speech on Pints and Paws.
Pints and Paws is a craft beer festival that you bring your dog to, and then all the money that we raise goes to other local nonprofits, Pet Rescue by Judy and Dolly's Foundation.
Both great organizations. And then Sofa and Suds, you're a part of.
Sofa and Suds. I mean, we do.
You do so many.
We could do an hour talking about events, but Pints and Paws is an entity, so I wanted to put that one out there for you. And then rounding it out on entities here in Sanford would be the Sanford Golf Cart Rentals. So
you can come down, rent a golf cart for an hour, for a day, for an afternoon, whatever it is, and cruise around because we are golf cart friendly.
We are indeed.
Yeah.
So
and trying to expand on that a little bit. I mean, as we go.
We work hard at that, trying to get that zone bigger and bigger.
Yeah. So. It's huge for us. I mean, that was one of the catalysts. There's several, and I would consider
it's a huge selling point for someone to live here. It's a quality of life type of situation to be able to live your entire life on a golf cart, and essentially you can here in Sanford. You can go to work, go to take your kids to school. You can eat, go out to the restaurants. You can go to the bank. You can go to lots of the doctor's offices and chiropractors. You truly could live on a golf cart here if you made some concessions.
And you also live right in the downtown area.
I do.
So you not only put your money here business-wise, your family and everybody else is here.
We do. Yeah, my kids, we all live down here. We go to school down here and breathe, live, eat, the whole thing.
So can I move on now?
Yeah.
Not move on, but I want to get a lot of things in about you before people start kind of showing up. We're talking to them. So originally, I mean, I would consider you one of the original guys that, with the concept, came in. We've known each other since when you originally came in, for all intents and purposes. Not so much in the beginning, but when I was mayor, we got to know each other a lot.
Absolutely.
So tell us, go through a quick timeline of the trials and tribulations of one, straight bar, which West End was. You went to a demographic that was totally different than what we'd seen down here.
Yep.
Right? And then kind of morphed it into this type thing, which is a little more outside, family friendlier, I guess. And then you did the stage in the back of West End and bringing in concerts, then to the events. And okay, I just told everything about Polly's business. No, seriously.
So you want to know how the progression came?
Yeah, you've stuck with it through some ups and downs and hard times and good times.
I guess what I'll say when I start a conversation like this, I usually give nods to Hollerbox Willow Tree. If they weren't here, I don't know if it would have been possible to make it through the first couple of years of business. And maybe even Ken Martin at Sanford Wine Company. He was one of the guys. He was around the corner. He was very helpful. So in the beginning, Sanford was not the polished gem it is today. So especially on Sanford Avenue, it was rough over there at West End the first few years. It had not been cleaned up or streetscaped. It was
because the Sanford Avenue streetscape only happened, what, 4 years ago? 3?
No, it's more like 5 or 6
That's
now.
5?
Yeah. But, it was rough. And then, it was, the crime, even on Sanford Avenue, was pretty bad,
Yeah.
So getting through that in the beginning was tough. But, it was pretty evident to see, in the beginning how the potential that Sanford had.
Yep.
So growing with Sanford's been great. It's been a lot of fun to grow my business at the same time the city grows, and the leadership here, which included you, they were very accommodating for that, and I think everyone's enjoyed it. The town has had a boom. Not only in commercial, but people. It's just a fun place to live, and people beg to live here, and property values have skyrocketed, and even through this pandemic have held. It's a true. It is a boom town. I know it's been called that in the media, several times, but it's growing more and more fun. I mean, this pandemic, you have to throw that out the window because nowhere has been more fun during the pandemic than before.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And I think we were always calling, I got sick of hearing this because I've been in banking and the chamber and as mayor and everything for 20 plus years. And I kind of got tired of hearing, the diamond in the rough. The diamond in the rough. Hey, Ada. Well, come over. You got to say hello to us.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah. There's another one. How you doing, bud?
To just do some trivia stuff and the table, but you guys have taken the table.
Yeah, we took the table for not for long.
Oh,
about
you're
an hour
gonna play
or so.
trivia.
Yeah, I was just gonna.
Don't mind, we're live TV.
Yeah, we're live. So.
Ada Renault, First Citizens Bank. How are you? We got
How's it going?
Great. Supporting local. Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
absolutely. I like the the earring right there. Is
Yeah, we're
pretty
probably
good.
ready for our first batch of stuff, Jeff.
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
two of us?
Thanks for coming out.
You're welcome. Thank
We're gonna have some conversations with people as we go.
Whatever you want, man.
And Chef Michael over there, this is what I was just getting ready to go into was how everybody kind of came together, and you were kind of one of the first to say, hey, if there's one, there can be multiple,
Sure.
right? And Chef Michael came in. You've been here 10, 11 years now.
Almost 12.
11 years.
Nice.
Corner Cafe does a great Cuban sandwich and soup. I mean, that's kind of your forte. But you've kind of been that piece of making sure that everybody works together, that everybody can you can have your little piece of the pie, but a lot of people coming together to support as a whole, which is the support local motto.
So I learned that from I worked for a family that owned bars going through college, and I got to learn that sense of community when I was working in those places, and I saw how that worked. I was taught to show that it's better to work alongside your competitors as opposed to fight with them all day.
Yeah.
And that's it really does make a huge difference.
Absolutely.
You talked about.
You got to talk real loud.
You talked about the pie thing. This guy, he's making the pie bigger, man. You look at Pints and Paws, that's thousands of people coming down here. The food truck wars, thousands of people coming down. He gets it. If
Kind of pie was talking.
Absolutely. My tab's wide open.
if you make the pie bigger, everybody's slice is bigger.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
appreciate you.
Thank you. Yeah.
And like I said, you and Theo were kind of the original ones, and then there's he's been here a long time.
Yeah.
Chef Michael's been here
Yeah.
a long time. Different concept, obviously.
Sure.
Lunch deal. But the things that you've done have been pretty cool. So I'm getting thirsty, but I don't know what we're getting ready
We
to
got
get
some,
into here. I mean, it is conversations and cocktail. Now I can talk forever, you know how I am, but the cocktail was kind of a
Jeff
big part of it.
he's making up a new. I have not tasted this cocktail yet. This is something new.
Oh, really?
So
Let me get you guys a couple of CBD cocktails. One of them is brand new.
It's brand new to me.
Okay, well, it's going to be brand new. And that's kind of the cool thing is you guys are always kind of changing things up. I know through COVID you had to do a to-go, and they couldn't drink on premise. So you kind of went through all that of how to do it. You did a bunch of renovations over there. You did a bunch of renovations here. And the changing of scenery was pretty interesting.
We tried to make the best of being completely shuttered except for to-go. If you were to breeze through West End during like April and May, you would have thought, "Wow, this place was a business before," because we gave it a whole facelift. We did some stuff here too, but it was interesting to even try and get through this, financially, morally, with your staff, trying to figure out what to do, how to keep them busy or how to keep them safe or how to keep them where they don't go starving and broke. That was a fine line, and we could go on about this COVID shutdown stuff for a while. I don't know how deep you want to get into that, but
man, we can go wherever you want to go.
It's I guess
I'd say that, but Paul, I think it's a very important factor for people to understand what the government did and what the pandemic did and what they were saying and what kind of the thought process is and what's going on in your mind. I mean, the whole thing about the chamber now is not just doing business with businesses; it's about doing business with individuals.
Yep.
And I talked to you a bunch through all that, and I talked to Tuffy's guys and the Basin guys, everybody. It was changing so fast and changing daily, and you've got people to feed. I mean, you're responsible.
That part was tough, where they were changing the rules sometimes 3 and 4 times a week, and expecting us to just adapt on the fly, which we did. I mean, we had no choice but to do that, but that was very difficult. It was almost like some days I would wake up, turn my phone on, see what the new rules were, and then panic to figure out how we could operate within those rules. And that happened several times.
And then call me and say, "How could you do this to me?"
Yeah, or like
I'm like,
what are they
just told us?
What are they thinking up top? Like seriously, and I still feel that way sometimes today. To go on the topic you're asking about, which is really kind of a soapbox topic, but I'll soapbox for a minute.
And it's very personal.
It is personal because I feel like leadership in the state and other states, so you can call that national if you want or not, or if it's singled out, but I think they put some specifically on bars. I think they put some too much of the onus of the COVID spread on bars, and I still think that they are attributing it too many numbers to it. I don't think it's fair to single out this industry because it did not single-handedly attribute to the spread. So it's very hard to stomach any of that.
Jeff got you out of that political conversation perfectly. Time, but I'm going to come back to that because I want to talk about the one time with the story when you called me and I was down the road a little bit and said, "You better come get me."
Yep.
Do you remember that?
I was willing to martyr myself that day.
You were going all martyr
for a cause. So
okay, what do we got?
Can you put a whole minute so I can say hi to Paul?
Oh, absolutely.
Say hi.
Come on over.
Larry Preston with Sunnyland.
Nice to meet you, Paul Williams.
Tiffany.
Yes, she said that we need to talk.
Yes, that's what he said.
So he just got a Sunnyland plug, and we're charging $500 per plug. So
You don't think we put anything
on camera?
How are you? Good to see you. Heard great things.
How are you, brother?
Thanks for coming out, man.
Good to see it.
Yeah.
I knew if Jeff's got his tab open, we're good to go.
Cheers.
Absolutely. We're going to try this.
Great.
So,
all right. So
Sunnyland Fertilizer and Roofing has
From
been
roofs to roofs since 1884.
Since 1884, the oldest business in Central Florida.
In Florida.
In Florida as a
We're not
whole.
going to count a bed and breakfast in Mount Dora.
Yeah. Just because the building was up doesn't mean they were doing anything. Right.
We've been with the chamber a long time.
oh, thanks for coming out,
Yeah,
man.
Tommy Moore, the owner, was on my board of directors forever. I know the family. I know all you guys, man. You guys have always been very good to the city of Sanford and Central Florida in general.
We do a lot for this.
And now that you're running fertilizer for Mayfair Country Club,
Oh,
the
nice.
place looks awesome.
It looks good. I'll tell you what, he did a great job after that storm that came through Friday.
Oh, my goodness,
I was going to try to skirt around and go 415. I live in DeBerry now, so. And I said I ran right in. I thought it was a tornado, hurricane, whatever. I didn't know what it was.
No, it was a big microburst.
But he did a great job.
Yeah.
I was out by Hidden Palms Ranch visiting with those folks, and when that thing came through, and That's not a really good spot to be. It's out kind of rural and it's
No.
a skinny road. And
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
oof.
Oh yeah,
How much is
that's
that going to cost me?
that's the challenge coin, man. That's you for coming up and saying a few words about your business. And they used to be they're my mayor coin.
So, I was going to say that.
I guess I need to mark the mayor or put an X in front or something. I guess, but there's a great concept behind that. I hope it carries on.
Why
It's
don't we
kinda
put
what
a
it
J
does.
over the Y and we'll just call you Major?
Major?
Yeah.
That, I never got a good
Major
name
Jeff
growing
Triplett.
up. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
I would take that.
Yeah.
I would take that. Okay, so what do we got to drink?
All right, so we're looking at here.
Well, sorry.
So what Paul's drinking.
Be in
These
touch.
are
I know
both
we also do
CBD cocktails. As far as I know, we're the first people in Sanford to be doing this stuff. This is actually using a locally sourced agave CBD from Just Breathe out of Lake Mary.
Oh, wow.
We partnered with them actually during COVID. It's one of the good things that came out of COVID for us. So we have a whole different line of cocktails with this using mostly citrus juice and the agave nectar and different spirits. That one happens to be using a orange and hibiscus gin with fresh lemon juice, passion fruit juice, and the agave nectar. And
That's what I couldn't pick out in my mind is the agave nectar. I was
Yeah.
like, what is this warm and soft finish at the end?
And this one is we call this a Pineapple Express. This is one of our CBD cocktails. It's been probably one of our top sellers for at least a year now.
That's my R-rated
It's got
version.
mango vodka. It's got pineapple rum, lavender liqueur, some strawberry
wow.
lavender CBD juice in there. It's fresh lemon juice, honey. So
That'd
both
probably be
really
good for-
It's like
summer
it's like a margarita and lemonade had a
Yeah.
baby.
Yeah,
It's
it's
like
got a
really
lemonade.
pretty baby.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
But it smells totally different than it tastes.
Yeah, it's got a nice like orange.
Yeah, it's got like a
orange,
citrus
like and
smell, but
Yeah, we're on different ones.
Oh,
okay.
we are?
Yeah.
yeah,
oh, but CBD.
both CBD cocktails.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it'll be good for my hip,
That's
my
right.
bad hip.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, you got
Yeah,
it.
that's actually good.
glaucoma.
We're good.
Now, what is this called?
So that one's called the Pineapple Express.
Pineapple
This one
Express.
does not have a name yet. I'll be launching this one this week. I don't know what I'm going to call it.
Maybe what we do is we shout out to the people watching over the course of the week when they see this, because a lot of people watch later on, and maybe we can get a name from our
Sure.
members.
Yeah, I'm down with that. Sure.
What do you think?
Fine with it.
Are you-
I like it.
Do you have enough faith in someone else to come up with a name?
Sure, let's hear it. Let's shout it out on the.
Yeah,
On
we
the,
got Kelly on the cam, so we'll see if we get something out of that. Very nice, man. That's good.
Cool. Well,
That's
well,
very
well,
good.
thank you. Yes,
Thanks.
sir. Yes, sir.
Thanks, Jeff. Yes, sir. One of the best bartenders, obviously, in Central Florida. Also, you're lucky to have him.
I think so.
And you know why I say that? Because he's got a great first name.
Well, that's not his first name, so I had to break your bubble.
Oh no! Don't tell me his.
He's only a
first name.
Jeff because his last name's Jeffcoat. So
Oh man,
his name's
They always-
Glenn.
they call him-
Everyone calls him Jeff.
Call him Jeff.
Okay.
Call him Jeff. So let's go into the good story about the DPBR.
DBPR.
DBPR. You want me to start? Or you want me to start?
I'll tell the story.
I'm
So-
going to correct you when you don't tell the whole thing.
We were shut down on March 17th of this year, which was St. Patrick's Day, and told that we couldn't operate as a bar anymore. We have what is called a 4 COP license, which is the super license, and it allows you to do to-go stuff. That license allows me to sell to-go alcohol at any time. So, under the orders, it allowed for that, so we decided to switch gears and do our to-go food and to-go booze and beer. And day 2 of that, DBPR came out and told us, or was arguing with my manager that we couldn't do that. And my manager calls me and says, "Hey, they're up here telling us we can't do that." And I said, "Absolutely, we should be able to." And I kind of lost my cool. Drove up.
Which is understandable.
I did. I was already panicking that this pandemic was gonna, to shut your doors at a business is, it can put you into a real panic.
Yeah.
So I was. So went down, talked to them. They said, "No, you can't." And I said, "Well, why can't you?" He said, "Because this is how we're interpreting it." I was like, "Well, that's not how it's written." And so they were letting restaurants do that action when they're not even supposed to be able to do that action with their current licenses. So they took something away that we paid for and gave it to someone that didn't pay for it. and I was upset about that.
Yeah.
And they told me, you know, they got on the phone with their supervisor. The supervisor said no. So that's when I called you and said, hey, I'm just going to keep doing it and let them take me to jail.
Yeah. And said, I'm going to be a martyr.
I called you and I said, you know, send someone down because I'm about to become a martyr. So I think that was exactly what I said.
Yeah.
So I told him, I was like, hey, you know, I stuck my hands out and said, I'm willing to go to jail for this because I know that I'm right. And they decided not to. And I actually, after a long conversation with them, I did shut that down. And then it was about 48 hours later, I got a phone call. Hey, we were wrong. You were right.
Yeah.
We're sorry. Resume your business that you were doing.
Yeah. And I wanted you to tell that story because I wanted people to understand you and the passion that you had. I mean, there was
definitely passionate that day.
There was. I mean, that's a nice word for it.
Sure.
Because all of a sudden here it comes, and then boom, here's an order, and we didn't know what the order was, and I received a lot of phone calls too.
Sure.
And then all of a sudden the next day they'd slip something in there that changed, and they were like almost keeping you guys on your toes, but it wasn't a fair playing ground for you. And someone comes to me and says, you're shutting down your business, and here's kind of what we think is maybe you might think about the reasons why.
Yeah.
It's going to make you mad.
Oh, for
right?
sure.
So I get it.
And all the local guys were like obviously on our side because they're they're close. That's close to home for you or all the locals. You know, hey, we don't want to see you suffer. You know, we like you. You like us. You know, we don't want to see that happen to you. So obviously all the local, you know, departments and stuff, they're on our side. But
And don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that it didn't need to be done, or you know, there's a lot of people that I'm not making light of.
Not saying that at all.
And all, but
yeah,
it's tough to not.
In the beginning of COVID, we didn't understand what it was.
Right.
None of us did. We didn't understand why we were saying that we had to close down when the whole rest of the wide world was open.
Yeah.
So that was kind of the first punch at our industry saying, hey, everything else can be fine. You know, there's still, you know, baseball games and basketball games happening, and Disney's still open, and the beaches are still open, but bars, nah, we can't do that one.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of where we're getting a little tired.
Yeah. So tough to swallow.
It is very.
But the good thing is that you survived. I mean, we're going to see a lot of closings coming up.
It's not over yet.
It's not over yet. But you've survived. You've kept a very positive attitude through it. Of listen, we roll with the punches. We do what we have to do. You've modified.
What do you know about a duck swimming on water?
It's got a watertight ass.
No, it looks calm on top of the water, but those feet are making it like crazy rudder under. So yeah, I've tried to remain calm. Haven't always, but
no, we don't.
Yeah.
I mean that's why we're human.
Yeah.
You know, because we react and then we think and then we react again.
I've felt immense pressures over the last 5 months.
Oh, I bet. I can see it in your beard.
Yeah.
It's way more gray than it used to be, man. I'm just saying. It actually, your white hat actually.
It's like when someone becomes
too.
president and they look like 40 years old, and then like a year later they look 95 years old.
No question.
Yeah.
I mean, I was mayor for 10 years. I'm actually only 32 years old.
I was going to go with the Benjamin Button type of thing.
Yeah.
So.
That's actually the way it is.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think your guys are bringing something else out. So.
Got some food coming.
Let's do that. Because that looks absolutely amazing.
Oh, thank you. I'll take 2.
Yeah, thank you. Perfect. We're gonna try one of these. So this is one of the new things that you did. I mean, you did this kind of right before COVID, right?
A little. It's been about a year, right?
Almost a year. October 1st.
So
Okay.
we partnered with.
Which we're like 6 months into.
Yeah. So yeah. I guess so. Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah. Wow. So this is Emilio and his partner Al. They've had a food truck in Orlando for how long?
Almost 10 years.
Almost 10 years. Award-winning sushi. They were looking for a home, and we got introduced by Mike Smith. Well, we knew each other, but Mike Smith, local business owner, owns the Current Seafood over in Henry's Depot.
Yep.
I was looking for a different food option here at Celery, and we used to have a soup and sandwich program, but I wanted to have something that was spectacular. And so he introduced us or reintroduced us, and we had a conversation, and we now have Sushi and Soul that resides at Celery City Craft, and it's not just sushi, y'all. It's far beyond it. If you haven't seen the pictures or had a bite yourself,
it's absolutely wonderful. I mean, it's awesome. So what do you got?
So this is our poke, our cold tuna. So it's
You're gonna have to speak way up, I'm imagining.
It's a
poke bowl.
It's a poke bowl, basically. It's an assortment of tuna, edamame scallions, spicy cucumbers, seaweed salad, carrots, pickled cabbage, and masago. A little bit of avocado goes together, and then we put a little bit of ponzu, house-made citrus vinegar soy sauce. Goes around.
Wow.
Kind of finish it
do you eat raw tuna?
Yes.
This is my favorite, but I'm gonna let you work on
there,
this.
you guys enjoy.
Well, I don't want to take your favorite.
I eat this all the time.
Hey, yeah,
What?
you got. See, I'm.
No, go ahead.
No, we're just gonna pick
I
at
want
it.
to work
Keep
on
going.
that.
You guys are big on this. This is one of the young lady's favorite one here. This is our gump roll. This is
Gump?
The gump, yeah.
Okay.
Ultra Force gump. So it's shrimp on shrimp. Shrimp tempura, cream cheese, cucumber inside, shrimp and avocado on top, 2 sauces, eel sauce, and a honey wasabi sauce we make in-house.
Oh man.
You're gonna have to get some of that too.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
I'm like,
Thanks, Emilio.
Please enjoy.
I'm like, thank you, man, and thanks for what you do.
Thank you.
Seriously. That was a great concept, by the way, of you doing that. I mean, everyone kind of questioned it. I remember I was like, dude, sushi? But, but man, it was awesome.
I've been hoping for a sushi restaurant the whole time I've lived here. So not only was it a good business move, it was personal too, because I eat here like 2 or 3 times a week. So,
Well, you're always working.
I mean, this is like it would be my favorite lunch whether it's here or not. It's just, I come to dinner, but I eat this poke bowl all the time, the
Yeah.
one you're about to eat.
Yeah.
So,
I got to be honest with you.
you don't know?
I'm good, man. I'm trying. Seriously, I try.
Can we grab some American chopsticks? Thank you.
Hang on. I'm from Missouri.
I got you some American
Yeah,
chopsticks.
I'm gonna get that right there. But look,
You can get in there with your hand.
Oh, man.
You're from Missouri. You should just go hand.
that's what we normally
Yeah.
do. What do you see down the pike, man? What's your here? Grab some of that too, man.
Here you go.
That is awesome.
Go crazy.
What are you looking at, man?
Well-
Give us your crystal ball.
On when this pandemic's ending or how it's going to look like? Is that what you're getting at? Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, I would say things will look closer to normal at the beginning of the year. And,
November 4th?
well, I know that's a controversial topic.
Yeah.
I feel like that there's, not to start any trouble on either side of the line, but I feel like that there is motive and some of it is election driven, and I don't think either party's not guilty of that, using that as a tool. I think both parties are guilty of that, and that's just a state of affairs in today.
And you know the cool thing.
Do you want to go down my 2-party system rabbit hole?
Well, I do.
Man, that's a long one.
Yeah, I do want to hear that because you know my history. And I think the cool thing about local elections, city, that are nonpartisan,
Yep.
they go. We try not to get into those. I mean, they're bigger than we are, but we're also a home rule city.
Yep.
So we like to make our own decisions, and I think we've lost some of that too over the last couple of election cycles. I'd like to see us get back into that a little bit. But
Yeah.
it happens. It's politics, man.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It is.
Politics makes strange bedfellows.
You're right. That's a mouthful, but yeah, you're right. It does, and the more things are intertwined into, either party,
Yeah.
it does make things convoluted. So I can't agree with you there.
So you went and heard, and we're going to get back to your 2-party system, but you went and you've had several conversations about the future of events. I mean, you guys do a lot of events. I mean, what's your outlook and what do you see and hearing about how that changes? Because obviously we can't have 10,000 people on the street compacted in to watch couch races, which is huge. We can't
right now.
Yeah.
And someday we will. Someday there won't be a pandemic, and when it's safe and it's over, I think we'll get back to working toward normalcy. It's going to take a while, but I think you're going to see some events. Some of the smaller ones, give it a try in the next 30 to 60 days, maybe 90 days. You'll see a few before the end of the year. I think I've already heard rumblings of a few of the people like, hey, it's a smaller event. We can keep it socially distanced.
Yep.
We can make it safe. We can, take some of the measures. And I think what they found also is that it's really hard to pass on the virus outside. So doing stuff outside does make a lot of sense. It's just, to be perfectly frank with you, the reason why I haven't pushed harder for it is, the first couple of people that do an event, they're going to be criticized and crucified.
Yeah.
To be honest, that's part of it.
Listen, we took a huge chance from the chamber side of being the first hobnob out that actually did it non-virtually. We actually had it, inside the Civic Center. But man, there were a lot of controls in place, and everybody did what they were supposed to do. Whether you're, whatever you feel, whatever you believe, this is, if you want to be here, this is what you got to do. And I appreciate your stance on anything, but this is what you got to do to be here. And I think people are kind of realizing that a little bit more.
That's the other part of it too, though. You just said it, is that the reason why people aren't doing events, and the reason why I haven't tried to do any events, is because when you add extra measures, that's more staff, that's more this, that's more that. It gets more expensive.
Yeah.
And then also you're going to try to reduce the amount of people that you're able to have at these events. It truly just makes them where they're a loss for money.
Right.
So that's the other reason why people haven't started to try to do events again, is because when you shut the street down and do all this and add infrastructure and add employees, but you can't have the same amount of people you used to, and you got to add more infrastructure for hand sanitizing and people corralling people. It makes it where it's not even possible. So I think that's going to be the holdup.
Yeah. And so I'm going to jump around on you here.
Uh-huh.
So how hard was it to get the PPP?
Well,
were you struggling with them, or
I was
the state?
lucky. I was very lucky.
And I asked you that right as you put a...
One, I bank with a small bank. I've been with the small banks for 5 or 6 years now.
Yep.
I got out of the big bank business because I was tired of being a number and not a customer.
Yep.
So that's why I decided to make that change. And I've always liked the relationship, but this was the first time it really paid off for me.
Paid off.
So if you were with a big bank, you didn't get service for PPP money. And it's really sad.
You better be stacked in line and be the first one at the gate.
They just told their customers, like,
we shut down.
Like a Wells Fargo said, hey, we're going to take care of our big boys, and then it's not even worth taking care of you guys. So it's pretty terrible, because the guys that didn't get it are the ones that needed it. Yeah. And some of the guys that got PPP money, I'm disappointed in you. We took our PPP money and we spent it on our employees that were not working, and we did it the right way. There's some big corporations out there that did the exact opposite.
Yep.
They took the PPP money and they bought toys and put it in people's faces, and they got a lot of it, and it's a pretty crappy way to redistribute the wealth the wrong way.
And we saw a lot of that.
Man.
Most small businesses, though, you got to admit, most small businesses did the right thing. I mean, I saw business owners coming to me and having the conversation.
Absolutely.
What can we do? Because they were more concerned about their employees than they were about themselves. And that's what I was kind of going to.
Absolutely.
And I know you did that. It was just kind of I just got to try to keep them,
Sure.
going. They got bills to pay. They got everything else that
April, May,
going
June,
on.
man, that's what it felt like. We were 0% open and still, accruing bills, and still had people. There was the unemployment was almost impossible to get.
Yeah.
There was people. I never let go of an employee the whole time, and I know a lot of people that didn't. We paid through the whole thing. Came up. That's why we did, renovations. We just
Kept them working.
Yeah, we did. Lots of them helped out.
And the West End looks awesome. Man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Seriously,
we go in there seriously, the best wings in town for all
I appreciate that.
purposes.
Yeah.
So if you haven't had West End wings, you got to do it.
Thank you.
And did a whole lot of renovations in there in the meantime. So
Yeah.
and it's about investing back into
We
your
did.
business.
We gambled. I mean,
Yeah.
we're still gambling. We're still making some improvements, and so it's a bit of a gamble because we think everything's going to go back to normal, but are we guaranteed that? We're not guaranteed anything, I guess. So I think everything will go back. We don't know when and how though. So.
Yeah. But as a small business owner, that's what you do. You're kind of a gambler. I mean,
Little bit.
seriously. I mean, you're a guy. Make $1 million, 10 million. How much? 10
What?
million? You?
Me?
Oh yeah. 10 million?
10 million?
20 million you've made?
In like my whole career.
I just wanted to see your
Oh,
eyes.
man,
go.
that's a lot.
No, I mean, but you're the gambler of changing things up and
Yeah.
modifying and it's like what we do at the chamber and in life in general, man. You got to be able to make the change.
Yeah.
And one of those changes may take you all the way down to the bottom, and then you got to reinvent a little bit and come back up, man. And you're the master of that.
That's what's been interesting about this pandemic is taking a scenario that you never thought would happen.
Yeah.
We never thought we always planned for, and that's part of why we were in okay shape. We always planned for a bad scenario or a bad couple of months or a heat wave or a lot of rain or a hurricane. You plan for that. You have that in the budget. But when a total shutdown comes for
on St. Patty's Day.
the worst day, when that comes, it's you can't plan for that. It's not possible. So learning how to adapt has been something I relearned during the pandemic. How to adapt on the fly and recreate and reinvent. And I've never had to work this hard for this.
A guy like you, how mad does it make you that Publix shares their profit in the second quarter?
Yeah.
Now everybody else is shut down, and I'm not picking on Publix. I mean,
will.
it was it's the people that are allowed to stay open while guys like you
Yeah.
that are in the system, and being funneled into this position.
Yeah.
They turn a what. I don't even want to say the number because it's now everybody has to have that, but it's stuff like that makes you question what's going on a little bit.
Yeah. So
That's not a statement from me. That's a question to you.
okay, here's my public stance, and this is where I was.
That's a good drink.
This is one of the ones that got me hot and bothered during the pandemic. Is so at West End when it was after they opened everything back up. We had an employee test positive for COVID.
Oh yeah. That's
So
right.
we decided to. We spoke with our management. Said, all right, well, let's shut down for 2 weeks. We'll get everyone tested, and only the people that test negative can come back to work until we go through the clearing, and then we'll isolate this employee.
And there was, I mean, we're kind of talking, and keep your thought. There was no question by you. I remember there was no question. It was like, boom, shut.
Yeah,
we are down.
It wasn't a hard decision for us. We did it. It was the right thing to do. We thought, and looking back, it was the right thing to do. But part of why you do that is A, it's the right thing to do. B, if you didn't do it and it got out and people got infected, you would look like a terrible person, right? Okay. So my soapbox here is days later that after we did that and knowing what I knew that it's the right thing to do, plus how bad it would look if you didn't and it got out, I discovered that Publix had 24 positive employees that had tested the few days before that. 24. Not just one Publix, it's Central Florida Publixes. Publixes or Publix with a...
Publix with
okay.
Whatever that little thing's called.
Publix.
It's like fishes.
Publix Eye. There were 24 employees at this in these Central Florida
Yeah.
locations.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I don't remember of ever a grocery store ever hearing of a grocery store
No.
shut down. So that was what a problem that I had, is that, hey, why would this industry be held accountable to take this action, but this industry is not held accountable to take that action?
Yeah.
So to me, I don't think that makes any sense. So
I don't think you're saying anything so political that it's outlandish.
that's not political at all. That is 100% business. I don't think that has anything to do with politics.
Yeah.
So I think what I'm trying to say is it doesn't matter who picked the course. I just feel like we got put in a scapegoat situation, and I don't feel like we've been pulled out of the timeout room yet. So
Yeah. Well, you've had to modify.
yeah,
Whereas your modifications have been very been very heavily cost to you.
Yeah.
Whereas, someone like that, a super giant, what have you, they put up some shields and put up some, distancing and some tape on the floor. Right?
they did.
I can't get it right.
A directional aisle, some tape on the floor,
Yeah.
and some hand sanitizer stations, and a couple of shields, and called it a day. And there was, which is great. I don't want to tell another industry that they shouldn't or can't.
Yeah.
I just would have liked to have.
Will came in. Will Henio. Downtown Sanford. Downtown guy. All the advertising.
Yeah,
Come
let's
on
talk.
in. Larry,
Yeah.
good to see you, my friend. Absolutely. Thanks for everything. Will, come on in. You just got him out of the quagmire I had him in.
Yeah,
No, not at all. So, Will runs Downtown Sanford magazine. Downtown Sanford. Historic. I always forget the historic part.
Yeah.
Historic downtown. So we're doing our live feed. He said he saw us online and came down and owns a little boathouse, right?
Yep.
Right on
Down at the
on the
marina.
marina. What do you call it?
It's the famous tiny houseboat.
The famous tiny houseboat.
Yep, it was built on the TV show Tiny Homes.
Yeah.
So now it's famous, and I own it, and it's an Airbnb.
An Airbnb, so you can go on Airbnb and you can rent your place, and it's pretty cool. I mean, I've seen it. It's right there.
You can add a golf cart too. You rent the Airbnb, add a golf cart from Central Golf Carts.
Yep.
You could buy a voucher from Celery City, get some food, get some beer. So we had that all going on
that's
pre-COVID.
That's what I like to call A++ Sanford.
exactly.
A+++.
Dude, now can you get a dinghy?
What's a dinghy?
A little boat?
Yeah, you can rent a pontoon.
Yeah.
No, a little one. Like
I don't think so.
A fishing boat?
Yeah, like a little.
You can blow one up. You can get
You don't know
you.
what a dinghy is?
I mean,
Where'd you grow up?
I didn't have a yacht, Jeff. You gotta have a yacht to have a dinghy.
No, the yachts had jet skis. We had dinghies.
Yeah, I know what a dinghy is.
I know.
What are you guys talking about? Did I come in the middle of some marketing stuff? Any
No,
good stuff?
we're just covering it all.
We're just kind of talking about all things Sanford and all
Sesame
things,
seed.
really kind of talking about the business and what COVID's done and kind of how we came about to Celery City and all the all the changes they've done and all the changes that have happened in Sanford over the years. It's
You're good.
12, 13 years ago, you could hit it. What I say, you could hit a golf ball down First Street and not hit anybody. You may take out Theo when he was standing there with his lost boot or Das Boot.
I remember
but he's been the only one.
They used to say Theo used to say that when they first opened, they would have soccer games out in the middle of First Street.
Yeah.
Like just
No
for
cars.
hours.
Yeah.
So
nobody.
I remember at West End, we would go outside and throw the football on Sanford Avenue.
Yep.
And then our car would come every 30 minutes. You'd get out of the way.
Yeah.
I heard the stories.
And just the total change and kind of where we go to now, is kind of the how he's reinvented his businesses, and almost Sanford as a whole has to reinvent. That's what we're doing at the chamber too, kind of reinventing not business to business, but you want to know who you're working with, and you said it perfectly. I went to a small bank and where I'm not just another number. I'm standing in line. It's a ticket take. It's more of a
That's where
hey man,
that's what we're talking about.
I got to have the here and now, and you have an individual that you're dealing with, and that's what business is coming. And things come full circle, in my opinion.
That's what
and
I said.
I think we're back to that.
That's what I said when I interviewed my bank. I talked to the branch manager and I said, I want to talk to the person that makes the decisions. I don't want to talk to the person that talks to the person that talks to the person that makes decisions. So that's why I picked a small bank, and and that's why I was able to get some PPP money. One of the reasons. My accounting firm too, they helped out tremendously. So it's all about the point I'm trying to make is it's all about having relationships with small, locally owned businesses, and that's what helped me get the PPP money.
Yeah, and it's support local. I mean, that's really what it's all about. And we've got some great commissioners that push the message and talk about it all the time. I've got it on my challenge coin. It's on the back, and I asked you. And
you might have a cease and desist coming for that.
You told me.
We'll get past it.
I think I still have that voicemail message. That you're like, use what you want, and that's the beauty of it. It's all shared scape, and if one does good, I'll do good.
And collaborations, I think, are important. So lately, Celery City has been working with Loggerhead, for example, and some other local breweries to promote cocktails here. I think that's really important for everybody to work together.
Yeah, no
Did
question.
you guys talk about the comeback yet? Because that's what I've been working on all week. It seems like the county had a press conference today. Things are looking better.
Yeah.
There's been some
numbers
cases
are
in
down.
schools. Numbers are down. The feeling is better overall.
Yeah.
So now we have to work as far as trying to attract people to come back the way we had it. Maybe not the way we had it initially, but starting to get everybody to feel
We did
comfortable.
cover some of that about getting back to events and when that's going to happen, and how it's going to look and how it's going to happen. So I've been talking about that a lot over the past few weeks.
And I think those are baby steps. Like you said, we don't want to be the people that are
Rush,
like, "Hey,
bust
man,
down the doors."
We're gonna, we're doing."
which is difficult for me.
I know it is.
Difficulty for me is, and Will and I have had this conversation, is trying to be busy enough to pay the bills, but not get too busy, it's not breaking any rules or looking bad to the outside.
Bad, yeah.
So
And it's still
that's been
out
tough.
there. And I think that, not to get political, but I think it's going to be interesting to see what the first full month of kids being back in school truly looks like.
Absolutely.
I mean, we've seen some numbers.
That's a huge one. So,
And, man, schools are a petri dish.
Right.
You've got young.
I do. I got a 3 and a 5-year-old and a 9 over here playing on an iPad. But they are. I was surprised to see that they did decide to open schools. I'm for it. I think the school that we're attending they've adapted great measures.
Yeah.
So I'm happy about that. I was going to have a difficult time processing if schools did go back and then they didn't ever open everything, which they've done. So we shall see how this progresses. My initial knee-jerk reaction was that schools they're not gonna make it more than 2 weeks before there's mass hysteria.
Well,
so we're 1 weekend.
That's what we all thought.
We made it through 1 week.
Yeah.
I mean, the numbers are clicking, but hopefully the important part is for parents to do the right thing. And I know that's so tough. That was one of the biggest things is, I got to get my kid back in school because I have to go to work. I can't, how am I going to do this? I go through that whole thing. But now if they test, what do you do? Because now the kid's infected, the house is, for all intents and purposes, is quarantined, the kid's quarantined. Sure. And that's going to become, I think that's going to be a huge next conversation of how that works.
Or if it doesn't happen before, winter cold start, or, the sniffles.
Oh, God, did you just call me out on sniffling?
I mean,
I swear to God, I just sniffled.
The little kids,
I thought you did it on purpose.
It's pollen.
The little kids are constantly that. They're constantly, passing around colds, and maybe these distancing measures will help combat that too. But that stuff spreads like wildfire, and I I'm curious to see what the reaction is going to be when that does happen, because it's inevitable.
Right.
It is, and some measures are going to have to be taken. And the school district has done a wonderful job with their own foggers, their own cleaning methods, and separation, the shields. But I got to be honest with you, I got a 14-year-old. All right, and when we talked about, are you want to do the hybrid? You want to do public school? You want to go, or do you want to stay at home? He was like, I got to go to school. I need some social interaction.
Yeah, I'm tired of you guys.
I can't tell you how happy I was, or how happy he was.
It just made me
actually,
so proud.
he was like, Dad, I met a girl. I'm like, well, you're not going to do that online, my man.
Yeah.
You know, so
So he's got a new girlfriend at school.
Ma'am, we can only hope.
Oh, you're hoping that he garners.
No, he said that. He said, "Hey, I've met a lot of people. I met a girl, and that's cool because they've sat.
Do you have to talk with him yet?
They've sat at home watching things on the internet that they shouldn't be watching. I'm glad he's having a conversation with a nice Catholic girl that comes from a Christian school."
Okay.
I thought this was conversation business.
This is we're getting into our adult conversation.
He said rated R.
Yeah, I have had the conversation, by the way.
Okay. Well, good.
I mean, yeah. Have you?
With me?
With yourself. With yourself.
I may have to block some schedule out tonight.
I'm gonna bounce. I'll leave you guys to
Good to
finish
see you.
up.
All right, well,
It's great seeing
thank
you
you.
guys.
Good to see you
I'll
too,
be
man.
here taking pictures.
Hey, appreciate working with you guys at the chamber. So, yeah, it's all good. It's all. What time we got?
It's
You know what?
Oh man.
Yeah, well, we got started late. So
What time do we start?
we started at 5:10 or 4:10.
It's 5:10.
Yeah, but I want to go outside
Man.
and talk to some people.
Dude, let's whatever,
I want
man.
to talk to Bob Turk,
Talk to him.
the economic development director.
Okay.
So I think we're gonna.
Do you want to take it outside, or do you want to invite him in?
It's pretty hot outside.
I think we should invite him in.
Let's invite him in.
Yeah.
Maybe. Will you go get Bob Turk and have him come in here? We'd like to have a little conversation with him. Yeah, he's right out back. We'd like to have a little conversation with him.
Absolutely.
This would be great. Let's put him on the spot. What can we put him on the spot about?
Oh.
Well, I mean, what shouldn't we
Something
put him
on?
on the spot about?
Oh, I thought it was a bunny. It's a squirrel out
The
there.
squirrel. He's hopping like a bunny.
Yeah, he is.
So
Have another one? You told me.
he left. That's still. He probably saw that I called him out. He probably skated out the backside. So let's go about 15 more minutes, man.
Okay.
I
like it.
I don't even care if anybody's watching because I enjoy this conversation.
Who's watching?
With you? If there's any questions, I mean, we'll take questions too, right? You'll take
We will.
questions.
Oh, you want to take a couple questions?
Yeah.
Anybody got any questions?
Well, mostly statements.
Oh.
Uh-oh. That was you making statements. Mine were all questions that sounded like statements at the beginning.
I'm betting there's some of them are food related.
Hey, what?
Someone said use chopsticks.
Use chopsticks. I know. I'm so bad at it. Seriously, I can't. And I'm left-handed.
Okay,
I think it's.
I'll go on my soapbox on this one.
Do it.
While the Asian culture does make a superior spoon, they are well behind in the chopstick versus fork department.
Yeah.
But their spoon is.
But isn't chopsticks were originally for shoveling? Because right?
Kim Shields says she's watching.
Hey Kim,
Hey Kim. See,
Jeff, where did you get that shirt?
Mayfair Country Club.
That's from Pete.
Mayfair Country
Oh.
Club.
And Jeff, your mom is watching.
Oh my goodness.
Oh.
Hey mom. Oh, my mom always watches. She's up
She
in
brought
Missouri.
her?
Yeah. So she has one of those pre-existing conditions.
Okay.
She's a breast cancer survivor, and so she's been one of the ones, as an older adult that's been stuck in the house.
Okay.
Great story about mom. Love her to death. She's up there by herself. Her husband passed away, several years ago, and she's lonely.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no social interaction when you have to stay in, and it's so scary
Sure.
because this whole thing has really been circled around pre-existing conditions.
Yeah.
And so we can't afford for her to go and, go to the grocery store, go to do
Yeah.
that stuff. So, my stepbrothers have been, helping her out and what have you. But that's the hard part of what you believe and what you don't believe, and what you see and what you don't see, and sometimes what you see isn't exactly what's going on.
Yeah.
That just drives me nuts. Just drives me nuts.
Sure. Well, I think
and-
Jeff wants you to come stay in Florida.
I've been trying to get
So,
her to come.
sounds like to me.
You know what happened? Instead of, because I was like, Mom, I'm moving you to Florida. You've been. She came down and spent 4 months with us. I said, Mom, you're moving to Florida. She goes, no, I want to stay here. You know, it's where she's been all of her life, and I understand that.
You know it's the Sunshine State, right?
And she's stubborn like a mule. I mean,
Okay.
Missouri mule stubborn type
Okay.
thing, right?
Yeah.
So what'd she do? Goes and gets a dog.
Oh, so she can't come visit you?
Well, I'm worried about the will.
Oh. Going to the dog now?
The dog is only 4 years old. This
Scrappy's
dog
getting the whole shooting match?
Yeah, if I read somewhere that the estate, we don't really have an estate, man.
Yeah.
We're from Missouri, but no, but that's what that, and I think it's great, man. This dog is awesome.
I don't know if you got some of that Branson money.
No, man.
Ozark money.
I grew up in the Ozarks
Okay.
in Springfield, which is 30 minutes north of Branson. Mom's still there. Maybe she actually has mom. Is there something you want to tell me?
She says no comment.
Okay.
See? Yeah, exactly.
Someone wants to know if
So-
you're going to get us a football.
We are.
If what?
We are having our league at West End. We are going to have a live socially distanced draft. And-
fantasy.
Yep, and it is this Sunday at 2 p.m. If you'd like to be in the league, call me.
That made me think of something.
Uh-huh.
So you guys also own a place out in Austin, right?
We sold our place in Austin several years ago, but we have some places throughout Texas, Denton, Dallas, and College Station.
Okay, College Station.
Yep. Mhm.
So what's the difference that you're seeing between Florida and Texas?
It's the timelines and the behavior from leadership has been almost the same, except for it has been a little more stringent on bars. They were not allowing these food license loopholes that have been granted there. So we are still completely shut down there. All of our locations. So,
Wow.
yeah.
Are they seeing any out? I didn't realize they were that.
They're starting to loosen in the restrictions on these food loopholes, which we are going to pursue. So we are hoping to open some of the businesses sometime in September.
So College Station is Texas A&M.
Yep, Texas A&M.
Texas A&M, right? So are they going back to classes, or are they doing?
College Station is going back. I think though they're making a lot of encouragement to do things virtual.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
but there's some, obviously on a college campus, there's some things that are not being, not be able to do,
Right.
virtual. So,
Right.
so the answer is yes and no, I guess.
Gotcha.
So, it seems that Texas has been a little more conservative in the approach of returning back to normalcy.
Yeah. 2 more questions.
Yes.
And then we're gonna wrap this up.
Okay.
So, first of all, this is why I never like to say 2 more questions, because I always forget one after I ask the first
Okay.
one. So, the first one is, do you feel like the hotel and motel lodging and bar and restaurant association lobbyists have done a great job for you? Or what's the name of it? I mean, I'm
FRLA, Florida Restaurant and Lodging Association.
glad I can pull you into that.
I don't know.
Because there's some powerful lobbyists out there.
I don't know that if the lobbyists that represent that industry is as powerful as the actual big corporations are. Is what I've grown to see during this pandemic. I think that's, when you talk about a corporation, one of your big hotel corporations, one of your big restaurant chains, say Garden Restaurants, I feel like they have a much bigger voice personally as a corporation. I know FRLA does lobby for us, but to be frankly honest with you, it's hard to lobby for a bunch of independently owned businesses because there's no collective there. I mean, that's supposed to be your collective, but I think the whole point is if you are treating an industry wrong, and whoever's lobbying for you, they have to go, hey, you know what? If you don't treat our industry right, you know, here come the lawyers, and that's what a Darden does.
Yeah,
and that's why they're never going to get,
Yep.
you know, restrictions like that. So that's what a Disney does. That's what you know, those guys are going to.
They have their own lobbyists on top of the
leadership
lobbyists.
is scared of those corporations because they're powerful and big,
Well,
and their pockets are so deep it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's about who you can get money from for your re-election. Yeah.
That too. I mean, I didn't want to go there, but that's obviously part of it. Yeah,
it's okay.
So
the second question, and then I want you to ask me a question.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to give you time.
Okay.
Because I don't actually remember the second question, but I'm going to make one up.
Okay.
So, I don't know. You got a question?
I do.
Oh, man. No, okay. My question. Hang on. So my question is.
You're like, I don't want to answer that question if he has it so readily available.
I can't ask it because I don't want to put you on the spot like that.
You just did that so I wouldn't ask you a question that would put you on the spot. That's all you did.
I'm a psychology major, man. I mean,
I want you to tell me what you think Sanford will look like in a year and then in 5 years.
Oh, really?
Yes. Where would you like it? Where would you like to see it in a year and in 5 years?
That's a great question, man.
Okay.
And that's a tough question.
It is. And I'm talking in regards to where you see, how you see it growing or not growing, and how you see it, you know, either remaining the same, you know, getting smaller in some areas, or keeping the boom.
Yeah.
So, specifically is what I mean.
That's been all for Conversations and Cocktails on this first ever. I run this show now.
Yeah, right.
No, that's a great question, man. And I think we've gone through a lot of that. I think we're going to see some closures.
Yep.
And we've always said, and you and I, and when I say we, I mean you, and I'm not putting words in your mouth, but a lot of us have said, as downtown goes, so goes the city. And so when we see shuttered doors, or we see people that don't open their doors,
yep,
and do the right thing, we've fought that for a lot of time. The things that we've built up over the 10 years that we've been here, that I've been here and beyond, because I was CRA before that, the amount of the investment and to raise the bar a little bit, to make the entertainment district, to have the noise level a little bit raised, to have all these things, these cool things, to have the craft beer there and craft, you know, alcohol there, the restaurants, the eclectic mixture of everything, and now we're not just one block, but now we're 4 blocks, you know, around, and the events going through, and the events all the time. I mean, this was before you, when I was on CRA, Braxton International did a report that was like, you do as many events as you can because you've got to keep people coming in there. Well, the same people that ordered it back then are the people now saying we have too many.
Yep.
And so I think we're almost on a mentality state where we're kind of back to here, but we need to be right here. And I would hate to see it go backwards because we're reducing the noise and we're catering to certain people. And I'm just speaking the truth.
Yeah.
We're going to cater to people because of certain things. And that's not good politics, and that's not good business, and that's not good for anybody in particular. When we can't sit down together, and we have gotten to the point where we've been able to do it. We've put together, Paul, you and I have put together people that have never talked to each other in a long time. Mm-hmm. Business, professional, city, association. We did that back in 2012, 2013 also during the Trayvon Martin. We brought pastors together that generations had not talked to each other because you know, his grandfather pastored over here, and he's, you know, was stealing congregations.
Fields and McCoy.
Yeah, and I'm seeing, and I don't know if it's just a state of affairs of today, but I'm seeing that pull back, and that's not a good position for us. So with that being said,
I think. Okay, yeah, go ahead.
With that being said, I think 1 year is going to be very tough.
Yep.
The problem is, after 1 year, we go back into elections.
Yep.
And there's a couple of people, local and on the county, that are going to be in the mixture for elections. And any time during elections in today's day, it becomes very divisive versus what it should be.
Yep.
And I bet I told 10 people, I told them 100 times, I said, this is still a small community. Seminole County and Central Florida is a small community.
Yep.
You still have to live next door to the person you're running against.
Yep.
Unless you're going to move, and a lot of people don't move just because of that. But the rhetoric is, I don't want to see the rhetoric hold us back, and I have a weird feeling that is kind of happening right now. 5 years from now, after the 2021, November 2020, maybe 2022, that's a couple more years out, 2 more years out from there, I think we get settled back in.
Okay.
And get that growth. I think there's some great infill opportunities. I think by then the and I'm pointing like people know what I'm pointing at, but the Heritage Park comes online one way or another. The Wells Fargo building comes online in one way or another. A lot of people looking for that. We have a lot of great infill opportunities, and unfortunately, this hit us at such a great time of what we were all doing. That, well, one, with me resigning, because I'm best mayor of Sanford ever. Yeah, I own it. I mean, it was all me.
Yeah.
No, but a great time just got absolutely sliced out from under the knees, and we're gonna have to work together, man. And like you said early on, and I don't think you remember it. This is my soapbox. I don't think you. It's the duck. Where on the surface it's calm and cool, but underneath he's paddling away, man, trying to get away from the alligator or whatever it is.
Absolutely.
We got to remember that it's like we tell our son. I'm sure you tell your kids this. They're a lot younger than mine, but I still say it to my 14-year-old. Dude, brush your teeth. 10 seconds. Well, yeah, brush your teeth, comb your hair, and put on deodorant now. But take 10 seconds before you respond.
Yeah.
Take 10 seconds, man, and think about it. I think we're in a here and now society that the immediate response is the best response ever, and man, you can't take back words.
I think the older you get, the more you learn that. It's still hard sometimes, to live that, but yeah, you're right. It's I like your take though, man. I think as far as your 1 year. Outlook, I think the pandemic is maybe giving a little glimpse to people of how it could be if we didn't include all those fun things that we used to do. And I think maybe that actually, in that regard, may have helped a little bit. So they say, ooh, maybe we don't want to turn it back too far on all the events and all the growth and stuff like that, because it turns into a ghost town real quick. So
well, we've seen it. I've got videos.
So
and it's terrible. It's heartbreaking.
I think people are feeling that, and I think I've heard, a lot of locals, express that they're ready for that to all go back to full force.
Yeah.
So, and in 5 years, I think some of these, if we can see some of these developments happen, that we've all been on the edge of our seats about. It will be nice.
Yeah, so. It takes a lot of time to get those into fruition, and man, this just absolutely seriously sets back 2 years, and we're going to see next year in the budget is when the budget's actually going to be heard from the city side.
It takes a while to catch up.
Yeah, it's going to be 1.5 this upcoming. It could be 2 to 2.5 after that, and the point is, if you own property from an ad valorem position, you own property. How is it going to, if you're not getting paid if you're renting it, how are you paying? Well, at some point in time, you still got to pay the piper, which is the tax man and the bank.
Yep.
For all intents and purposes, do we go back into 2008? I think we got to look very carefully on that, because funding police force, funding fire, funding, that's all. It was very close to the NIP anyway.
Yep.
And now we're at a lack of a lot of that.
Yep.
So it's going to be interesting to watch how the elected officials handle this piece of it.
Yeah. Be interesting.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I hope that answered.
It did. I think you covered it.
No, I think Sanford, I think you guys have done, in closing, you guys have done a wonderful job. And like I always said, the best thing that city can do as elected officials is get out of the way. Still hold accountability for the policies and everything else. But man, I want to think over the years we kind of got out of the way, or you can make a phone call, and that's the great thing about elected officials. That's why local elections are so important, because we're the closest to, your local electeds are closest to the people. And how many times could you pick up the phone and call, or Trey or anybody else anywhere across the city could call and say, "Hey, man, this is not right." And so, go vote.
Yeah,
go vote.
And then in closing, you said it. Having a public-private partnership, a true partnership, is really what drives the whole thing. The private side, you can get stuff done at a faster pace and cheaper because you're specialized in whatever you're working with, and that's why it's important to have an integration between public and private.
Yeah.
So,
you know what? I'm gonna close. This is the last thing I'm gonna say.
Okay.
We get so caught up in the negative side of everything, no matter what side you're on, politically, right or left, middle, whatever it is. We get so caught up in the day-to-day grind of what I would call some keyboard cowboys, that it sits on the back of your mind. But you know what needs to happen? Good people have to stand up. And good people are the ones that are sit back and go, "Oh, I don't want to get involved in that. Oh, I don't have time for that. I'm working. I'm doing this. I'm not that bad people don't work, but you put yourself into the positive side of what you can reinforce." And I've got people around me that always, because I do it too, I get sucked into the negative side of it, and that's politics.
It happens.
That's public figure. I think it's important right now, especially in today's day where there's so much negativity, to say, you know what, I'm going to go support Paul and Celery City. I'm going to have a poke bowl at, sushi and soul. I'm
Absolutely.
Go to
Leading by example is the way that you stamp that out.
Yeah, and you know what, if you see something negative, say it. Say, man, that's the worst thing I've heard. You know what? I don't need that in my life.
Yeah.
Let me spin it for you this way. And there's a positive side to everything.
Sure.
And it may be 5 years down the road, but I'm going to spin this that in 5 years we're going to be way better off than we are today.
Yeah.
What you got? Finish.
Be patient and go Sanfording safely, and soon we'll get back to normal.
Yeah, absolutely we will, man. I appreciate you having me in, and
thanks for coming.
And I know you're ready to dig into that tuna.
I am.
And the drinks. I mean, come down to Celery City, see Paul and the crew. Jeff. Oh, Jeff left, didn't he? I was going to tell him he had the best name in the business. Yeah. Best bartender in the business because of his name.
He is gone.
He's gone. Thank you very much, guys. Have a great day. Don't hesitate to call the City of Sanford or the Chamber. Actually, the Chamber if you need something business-wise. City of Sanford, there's something going on. I can always help you, lead you through, or help you get to where you need to be. 407-322-2212, or my personal cell phone, which my mom has, by the way, 407-314-4864. Website for Sanford Chamber is www.sanfordchamber.com. I think it's very important to be a member. I've always been a chairman. I was chairman of the chamber in 2001.
Yeah?
That's how long I've been a chamber member and been around in the leadership areas. I took a little time off, but I'm back at it now. And so, websites? I'm going to put you on the...
drinkatwestend.com.
There you go.
celerycitycraft.com. sanfording.com. sunshinestatethreads.com.
Yeah. Cigar?
We don't have a separate website.
When's that going to open? When are you thinking about?
I mean, we could legally right now. It's just the social distancing part of it.
Yeah.
We have to be careful. It's such a small spot, and it's specialized for sitting down and smoking. So it's a tough one. So soon.
Thanks for being my first one out of the gate. I hope you enjoyed it. I know that I did. I always enjoy your perspective and everything that you've done for the city of Sanford, and I mean that from my heart, not just as a fly by night deal.
Appreciate that.
All right, bud.
Yep.
Take care, man.
Yep.
Take care. Have a good evening.